Fletch here bringing you some big news that has just occurred at the time of recording this, and that is that West Ham have just announced that Slaven Bilic has left the club with immediate effect. Shortly after 11 o'clock this morning, the official Twitter account of West Ham United Football Club tweeted out, "The chairman and board of West Ham United would like to place on record their thanks and gratitude to Slaven Bilic and his team." The decision comes after West Ham's poor start to the season that sees the club now sit in 18th place in the Premier League table, with their last result being a 4-1 defeat at home against Liverpool that not only saw the Irons record their 6th defeat of the season, but was also the final straw for the Croatian boss as the London club decided to act on their poor start to the new campaign going into November's international break. The Hammers' record for this season currently stands at 2 wins, 3 draws and 6 losses from their opening 11 games, despite a summer that saw some big names walk through the door at the London Stadium. The free signing of Pablo Zabaleta, the loan signing of goalkeeper Joe Hart, and the 2 huge signings of former Manchester United striker Javier Hernandez and the former Stoke City winger Marko Arnautovic, who arrived for £20 million, smashing the club record transfer fee, all became West Ham players over the previous transfer window, but all are struggling to find their feet with their new club and live up to the names they had previously made at their other clubs. Bilic is the 4th Premier League manager already this season to be sacked, following the likes of Frank de Boer at Crystal Palace, Craig Shakespeare at Leicester City and Ronald Koeman at Everton, all of whom had experienced difficult and poor starts to their new campaigns. So, who's the favourite to replace the Croat at the London Stadium? Well, many reports are claiming that David Moyes has already held talks over that now vacant position. Moyes, who built his reputation at Everton before having an unsuccessful spell at Manchester United, where he succeeded Sir Alex Ferguson, moved abroad to Real Sociedad not long afterwards, and then following a poor spell in Spain, he moved back to England where he became manager of Sunderland, where after just 1 season he was sacked after relegating Sunderland down to the Championship. He now looks set to return to management with the Hammers, where a new challenge lies ahead. The axe had seemed to be looming over Bilic for a while now. Poor performances, not scoring enough goals and being incredibly fragile at the back were some of the things that just led to his dismissal. It was such a turnaround from the first season where he took charge and helped guide the Irons to a Europa League spot, but from there things turned sour. Moving to a new stadium in which they still look uncomfortable in, not being able to get past the qualifying stages of the Europa League, and then not being able to reach the bar that is set in Bilic's first season at the club have saw the club's downfall. It's a club low on morale and in need of some stability and identity. Nothing wrong against the man himself, of course, don't get me wrong. He carried himself well and he spoke very well about himself and his players and openly and honestly as he could when he needed to. But in the end, football is a results game, and it seems that recently more and more managers are being given less and less time to try and correct these types of situations. Of course, not all the Croat's fault, of course. He had multiple injury problems, mainly defensively, but it's a minor consolation to a guy who did so much for the club within the 2 and a bit seasons he was in charge for. As for the potential replacement in David Moyes, if he's given enough time and enough resources, he can make this team a very difficult team to face, and he can make them a force again. He can push them up the table to be where they want to be, which is within them European football spots. But he will obviously need to hit the ground running, and he will obviously need to retain their Premier League status this season. As we've already mentioned, managers are being given less and less time these days. So if he fails to retain their Premier League status, his role as manager could be over before it's even begun. January will be a big transfer window, not just for West Ham but for Moyes himself, as his recruitment will probably be put under the microscope, as his recruitment while Sunderland boss was very poor. But he may have an ace in the hole upon his arrival anyway, in the form of Andy Carroll. Now, Carroll, his career's been put stop-start because of injury problems, but when he plays, he can be a defender's worst nightmare. He's difficult to play against when he's on his game, and when the service is perfect for him, he can make himself a right nuisance. He did this at Everton as well, Moyes. He used Fellaini as a target man, and it seemed to work very effectively. Of course, this is a different team, it's a different style, and like I said, Carroll he isn't exactly reliable when it comes to injuries and staying fit. So it might be very different, but Andy Carroll could be a huge player for Moyes and West Ham going forward for at least this season. So there is definitely something for him to build on here should he arrive at the club. So, interesting times lie ahead for West Ham as a new chapter begins. Guys, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want more videos like this, then feel free to hit that subscribe button and comment down below on this story. Who do you think should or will replace Bilic? Was it the right decision to sack Bilic? What needs to change at West Ham? I'd like to hear your views in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.